I'll show you this just because it's fun. My son, this is just personal, has to do a spelling test. So he, instead of trying to get him to sit down and take a practice spelling test, I found this app where he can just take it even when I'm not home, and he can practice on his own. And what it does is it says the word sweater, and then he has to type it in, hamburger, and then he goes on to the next one. By the way, I'm going to share this with you because I shared it with my class. We were talking about athletes, and one of my students was saying, how come we don't have any way to know what the games are for the teams that are on campus? And how come there's no easy way to find that information out? You have to go to the website, you have to search. And so we did it in class because we were talking about whether or not athletes should be paid the amount of money that they're paid. It was one of our persuasive arguments. So I said, well, let me see, because as we all know, sometimes it's not very easy to navigate through the technology of the college. Well, it turns out there's an app for that. It's called Front Row PGCC. Right? I was talking to Dr. Lee about this yesterday because she told me about it, and I was like, this is so crazy. So you can sort by sports team, and it will give you can look up their schedule, and it will tell you their scores from their last game. Your kid as well, I love it. Oh, here's another thing that happened. So midway through the semester, my iPad died. It just died. It wouldn't turn on. I couldn't get it to work. I was convinced that my son somehow did that, but he doesn't use it yet, so not this one, he uses my other one. So I had to bring it in to get fixed, which meant that all of my stuff was gone. So always have a backup when you're using the teacher kit, because I was like, I had taken pictures of all my students so that I could know them by name. And I was able to take attendance and put grades in there and everything, so I always had a backup. For the Speech 1010 class, what I was hoping to do was a couple of things. I wanted to make it more interactive. I didn't want it to be just me talking. But the other thing I wanted to do was to try to capture a video of them giving their speeches. And then because we're assessing the course next semester, I was working with Alan and Anthony Fulton in assessment on how can we use the video as the assessment tool, rather than just a paper, rather than saying that they did these things and not really able to see it. We just started tweaking with it this week, so I don't have anything up on TK20 yet. But I do have the students with the directions, and I did take some video. So let me just show you what I did with them in class just last week, and actually even today. Let me go. Okay, go.
Become ignorant and distracted. In this case, misinterpretation plays a major role in this explosive problem, a role that can spark aggression out of loving, affectionate, and a loyal dog. Subject the light of prejudice.
Allow me to grade in real time. So if I see that a student has said at 1 minute 32 seconds, I can type in, you've said twice. And they will see it at 1.32, you've said, and which is really cool. So I'm hoping that this will open the door to other online or hybrid opportunities for courses to make it accessible to even more students. But also, we're the communication and theater department. So I'm really adamant with my faculty that we have got to be kind of at the forefront of this, because we are communicating in all of these different technologies, and we have to be aware of how our students are communicating and how we'll be able to communicate lessons in different formats that will appeal to the students and hopefully reach them in different ways. And I showed it to the whole class, and we talked about, the content. She's doing a speech on pit bulls, and she's trying to tie in the persecution of pit bulls to persecution that's happened, to humans, and she pulls out a specific, later on she pulls out a specific musician that she talks about, and everybody goes, oh my, I can't believe you chose that person. So it definitely engaged the audience. But I was able to also talk about presentation skills. Like, she was talking way too fast. We talked about that today. And the fact that she was leaning so hard on the music stand that the music stand started to go down, right? And as you can see, they're using their laptops for their speeches. So they come in with their Chromebooks, which they all have, or their laptop, which they have at their desk, and they're sitting it onto the music stand to deliver their speech. And I told them for some people that worked really well, especially if they had a tablet that they could just kind of set there. But for others, it became kind of this distraction because they were looking at it all the time. So that's one of the things that I loved using this for, was to be able to do those videos and to be able to plug right in and show it to them right then and there.